How are you doing? Is my audio still the same? Let's start the funsies. Um, Whatever you do today, make sure that you assume risk response. Like none of this is supposed to be a trade signal. We're just watching price action in real time and looking at areas of interest. That's literally it. So if you do assume any risk, it's your own responsibility, obviously. So just be mindful. If you were already planning on taking risk, um, I do this regularly. It's not just today. It's something that you have to plan from the beginning of the year, beginning of the quarter. I only want to risk this much. I would be accepting. I would be accepting to risk maybe let's say 50 to make a 100, or you get the idea. So just a reminder, like literally these, it is it is inherent in risk basically. So um, let me add an invite. See if we can get a guest in here, another guest. It's working, okay. And um, Slickticks, let me know if you actually see a delay or not. I'm sorry? No cut. Yep. As expected, 90% chance there was no cut, right? Perfect. Nice little whiplash kind of thing. Small one, I guess. What happened to Google today? What the hell? About an hour ago, it just fell, free fall. Wow. I mean, it makes sense because they're already partnered with OpenAI, right? We're on the 5-minute right now. We had longs earlier that were working, but close this window. We don't need that anymore. We got one target at some point, T1, but then beyond that, it just did nothing. Don't need that line anymore. It's not holding up. Somebody actually earlier asked about whether or not the short to target outside day might be a possibility. And the idea was that what's up? I am bullish. I am bullish. Like, hang on a second. Hang on. I was bullish based on ESN and Q. Let me just double check one more time this Dow Jones thing. As long as there's no divergence. Damn it. That is confusing. This makes me neutral a little bit. You see how the overnight high that happened yesterday, just so we know how massive this candle was from yesterday, that was a 226 point move in 2 minutes from yesterday. Or was it? Or was it? The push up that happened with the news yesterday, right around the opening price, that's a minute candle, 142 points. That's 2 minutes. So the idea is that that high that was generated from yesterday on the hour, and let me change this to ES right here. I still lean more bullish just in general, but this is just keeping me a little bit cautious. However, I do like that the 4-hour, right, this is where the 4-hour just opened, 2 p.m. We're going to mark that, H4, same thing in here. It just gives us a reference that price is green above that price level, right? H4. And same thing in here for Dow Jones. And we're going to do the same thing for Russell. I don't need that gray shaded area anymore. Let me make sure that, okay. Let's do the last one for Russell. Obviously, we still have to wait for Powell, but I would like a cleanup of these highs. I would like price to trade up there. It's a little, because I think I'm streaming. I think that's what happened because I'm streaming on Twitter. And I can see, but no audio. Nelly on Twitter, is there still no audio? There should be, as far as I know. I'm not too sure. I just saw her comment. And I'll try to speak louder. Try to speak louder. I'll try to amplify the actual sound in here somehow. Let me check the settings one more time. And I will try to speak louder. Testing, testing. Did it change anything at all or no? Is the audio better? Is it the same? You guys, KD, Nelly. Yeah, now I can hear you. Yeah. Interesting. What the? I don't really know why, but hang on, just so it's less not confusing. This was an earlier trade we took. I'm removing it. But I know that Russell earlier mentioned something about that threatening outside day. You just got it now. On which index? Yep, on its own. So from here, I want to pay attention to subtleties. Anything that does change. I don't know why there's no freaking audio. I didn't do it through OBS this time. I did it through Restream directly. Still no audio. Thank you, Noe. Yes. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Cool. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Nelly. So relative equal highs. So this is kind of what made me more neutral, the Dow Jones highs being taken right before this move just happened. So I have to wait for more data, more evidence of price doing something. And we're going to do this to become sell side. And we just got outside day for NQ, right? That is what Russell was mentioning earlier. I don't know if Russell's here or not, but basically it just favors more risk to reward if you actually get an actual short from the highs. I know two people DM me. Dan is one of them, that took the short back down before the event even happened. They just saw an opportunity, and they just took it. So I was hoping that Tia would also join us, but we'll wait for her. We'll wait to see if she joins or not. I'm still waiting to see any reactions off of that area. No cut. That's expected, but you're also trading into a key level, right? Those relative equal lows were just liquidity, and price is actually dipping into fair value of this range only. So if I can mark anything to watch for, it would be something in here. And the same would be true for ES. I actually did not want price to go lower first, personally, but now the main idea is that I'm personally targeting not today, not specifically this week. It might happen. We still have Thursday and Friday, but given like in the near term future, that's what I'm really targeting. The actual high from the March 25th high, that weekly wick in there. That's about it. It just looks like a realistic objective for price to put in low and hammer back up. If that just so happens to be the case, then that's great. What is that? Let's make this a light blue color for now. And hourly. That is the previous week's high in there. So based on what I'm seeing, right? Like it's not trying to reverse from this level, just being sell side liquidity. And even though it's really close to the 50, another area of interest is that weekly high, previous week's high, or from 2 weeks ago, which is an unmitigated block, right? That was caused by, I will check the messages in a second. That was caused by the GDP data news, right? GDP data dumps and then somehow price reverses back up. This is just an untested, unmitigated area for price. So we'll just keep it there. I don't really need to see the whole thing. I just need to see the actual line itself. So And yes, by the way, if you're wondering on the stream, you will see paper trading. Like I'm not. It's a. Let's just call it a full-on demonstration of just paper, basically. You can practice, you can learn with it, you can do whatever you want with it, but I want to make that very clear. Let's see messages. I'm doing. Be safe. Tia can't join us today. She's dealing with something tied to house repair, literally. She mentioned it yesterday. And here's what I'm interested in right now. Because it did trade into that one, right? And that's, I'm going to give this a different color for now, right? This will be a light orange color. That is the overnight pump news high. That's it, right? It pumped, it faded, and came back down. Price is still below it. As for this low, this just represents 50% plus that high. That's it. That gray level represents that. And this blue line represents the weekly candle from not last week, the week before, high, which also lines up to a sell program block. That's it. So if you want to see prices higher, which I do, I really do, then we would want to see this being supportive of price to go higher. And we're still waiting on any kind of like evidence that we can see right now, any SMTs. So if one of these, like we catch a liar right here, right? If one of them is diverging, if there's a break in correlation, then price shifts back up with them, then that could be an idea. Okay, Russell making a lie on its own. So something that can be considered is if Russell's making that lie on its own in there, above this price would shift structure back up, right? What Russell just did is an actual stop hunt. This thing is not triggering anything yet. It's not telling us anything yet until it actually pops back up. So far, it's not doing nothing. And it may just lead them down. But it has to shift the actual structures to go back up to see anything from there. Now, I wish I was on micros, but I've always charted minis. So I would move the decimals to assess the risk in here. If that risk is in minis for 1,000 plus, that's insane. On a single micro, which is a tenth of a mini, you're looking at $116 and 81 for this one right here, right? Not yet. No, I'm not in anything. Nothing. No, no. There has to be a structure shift back up. Can you hear me clearly or no? KD? If they all trade lower, then I will cancel the idea. It's a paper idea, so. KD, can you hear me? Testing. Really low. Damn, okay. Damn. I really, I have to solve the stream at another time using OBS instead. Since price is trading below that low, I don't want this idea anymore right now. Well, it's only NQ. It's only NQ. If they all trade below that low, I don't want that idea anymore. And Russell has to pick up slack back up. So far, we'll let it. Since these two are still behind, above, they're not trading lower. If Russell starts picking up, then that is where the first structure shift can happen. And the risk behind that right now is probably even larger because it made a new lower low. So about 80 on a micro ES and 134 on micro NQ. We're just letting price print its thing to tell us if it's changing the music or not. I'm going to type this out in here. Not financial advice, just to be clear. Paper trade. Studying price action in real time. ES took one of these highs in here, right? Did nothing with it. And it's getting really close to the time that Powell starts speaking. So, sorry, I'm going to say it louder. It's getting really close to the time that Powell starts speaking. Let me do it in ticks at this point. Everything in ticks, so that way it doesn't even show monetary value whatsoever. That's a really wide NQ stop. Hell no. That's not something I'm interested in personally. Like on a 1 minute, 260 ticks for a structure? No. I'm good. It triggers on both. Okay. Obviously, it's going to turn red normally just because of a breakout, but we're just letting it tell us, are you changing the music, right? Are you shifting from lower highs and lower lows to your first highs and lows? That's market structure in a very simple term. But that is a very wide stop loss that I personally, like if I were to engage with this at this moment, I would actually do ES over NQ. Just because it is a pretty wide stop loss. If I have to actually narrow it down more, I would actually reduce the risk down to here. Right? Why would I be using that? Because that low traded below that candle's low, manipulated. So it just offsets, cuts the risk about in half. So I wouldn't want to see it come there. It might, especially with still Powell's about to speak. So be aware of that, right? I'm not in it, but I personally want to trade tomorrow's daily candle. Based on how today closes, we're going to see more clarity. reducing risk down to that low in there. It's very normal for it to trade below that high just because breakout, literally, I was a breakout entry in this case, but I didn't do it for the sake of breakout. I did it for the sake of market structure shift. So, and remember, whiplashes, right? Big wicks can happen, unfortunately, because of these volatile events. So just be mindful of it, please. Just like how that candle alone, like that's a single minute candle that traded for about 70 points, 286 ticks. Whiplash back and forth just to take out some stops. About 7 minutes for Powell to come in, but the idea is that if this does retrace to 50% of this range in here, I also want to reduce the risk down to that low. Let's measure ES, same thing. We're just trying to control and preserve risk, right? Mitigate it, so on. I feel like it actually might want to manipulate one more time, especially because it's coming close to a new 30-minute candle that is substantial. It does matter because you have Powell coming in. So NQ with a higher high alone. Let's see them all move in that direction. Otherwise, I don't like it as much.
Someone was detected at your hummingbird.
So NQ presented its own higher high. So still some little pullback, manipulation, shakeout, whatever you want to call it. I'm almost like putting my face like maybe like 8 inches away from the screen just so that the audio can come through. But next time I'll just do it on OBS. I just wanted to test out this feature in here. I'm not liking this as much, especially because 5 more minutes. It opens a new 30-minute candle. Unless price accelerates far away from it within 5 minutes, I don't want to be around the entry point when the new 30-minute candle opens, because it'll open from that area, and I'm not interested in seeing it trying to manipulate or play around, dig in a little bit lower one more time. So I have to see it accelerate higher on its own, like aggressively within 5 minutes. If you want the most protective stop, it's going to be the last swing low, unfortunately. So we're still giving it some room for now. 4 more minutes. It'll dictate where the 30-minute candle opens. If in the last minute price is still around where the entry is, I'm going to close the position. The idea is for it to expand pretty aggressively higher, fast, away from my entry, so I can basically feel comfortable coming into the new 30-minute candle, which is also the time that Powell starts speaking. So blunt candle, no wick below it. Would have been better if it had a wick, but we'll see. One of the main objectives just got met, which is just retracing to 50. That's a trade into 50. Can it allow me to reduce my risk? Yes, right? I can use that wick in there. I can even use that, and that will put it at a break even at that point. So it's your call to do it. Same thing in here, same wick. I wish TradingView had a better representation of ticks, points instead of ticks, but sorry, I'm going to glue myself to the screen again to speak, or so you guys can hear me better. We don't want it to see it pulling back to open the new 30-minute candle somewhere around the entry point. That's too close to now knock out some lows nearby. We don't want that. As soon as Mr. Powell drops his folder down, smacks it on the podium, price can just shake. So the acceleration of it, we were just anticipating a market structure shift from a certain point after it manipulated lower. Why are you going lower to go higher? Are you changing the music? That's it. 11:29 coming into now this last minute, 40 more seconds. 11:29 my time PST. I don't want this to turn red. Personally, that's just a way of mitigating risk coming into this event that is volatile. We know that. And so I'm okay with letting it stop out. 7 seconds, oh boy. It can also present a short from premium if you're bearish, right? If you're bearish, it can also be a good area for a short from this premium using that high. Since it did retrace back up to 50% in premium of the range to now offer a possible next leg down, just so you're aware of it. That's literally how, to me, premium discount works. Bummer. ES got stopped. I don't know why. Did I keep my stop too tight or what happened? I don't know why it canceled that one. I don't think I put it too tight. I'm pretty sure NQ knocks it out just for funsies. NQ's very known to wick out a lot. It's the most volatile one. But those lows look too smooth and they're right next to my entry, which I already accepted to put a stop break even near where Powell's about to speak. So we'll see. I'll actually draw it as a representation, like visually right here. Sorry about that. Whoopsie, not a short. Okay. I don't know why ES stopped. I don't recall why. But it was somewhere around here using that structure shift. That's the actual full trade plan. And we're looking just to get 2R. And this, that can happen, great. Original stop loss in there, that would be 2R. It just reacted to the opening price of the daily and the 4-hour candle. H4 represents 2 p.m. 1400 hours is 2 p.m. Below that, we're still red on the actual 4-hour, but based on where the 30-minute opened, clearly it's green so far. We're looking for it to go domino effect, flip the 4-hour into green daily and continue. Ideally. It's still like the higher time frames on the hour are still pointing lower lows. But we are trying to see a possible domino effect to higher prices. I'm not really bullish, I'm not really bearish. It's kind of mixed, but I can look at something in the range and deal with it. And that alone, like 300 ticks on a single micro of risk. Imagine if you had risked that. That's about $150, a little bit more than that, right? And why did I use this high right here? That was another structure, a microstructure, just for more confirmation. That would be like a 5-minute one, because we're dealing with a more significant event that I want to see more clarity. A bigger range being included. Now, at this point, clearly the stops would be not just in break even, but also in profit, ideally. As like, if there's any selling point to defend, it would be here, just so we're aware of it. If there's any selling point, and I don't know if it might just come down to retest this block and then proceed, or just fly, or reverse, fully back down to continue. But that's where a short is also viable. Like, that's where literally price broke down and is just retracing to. It's just a deeper OTE retracement, optimal entry. It's about 80% back. It retraced 80% of the way. But my my favorite positions are the ones that let me be very comfortable in a trade that I either trim, trail, have virtually no risk on at this point, right? I'm like, that's a significant amount, 300 ticks of profit. I'm not going to let that trade turn to red. So I virtually have no risk on by just having a stop loss at break even, if that makes sense. Remember, we're just looking to see support previous sellers, block to continue higher. That's it. So far, so good. flipping the day, the 4 hour, and almost a month, almost for NQ. I'm gonna drink something. My throat. I do promise you that the audio is never going to be like this again. I'll make sure that it's running on OBS, not a restream directly. Why is your audio good? Mine's not that good. That is, it's just my stream, the software that I'm using. I'm not streaming through OBS directly. I'm using Restream, but make sure, yeah, make sure you're trailing risk. You're aware of what you're doing. Obviously, I'm smart. Amazing. So, uh, this drop, yeah, this drop, Dow just recovered it on its own. That's why we're getting some sense of pullback right now, a little bit, not bad, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I don't even know what Powell is saying. That is like, is there? Let me check. Walter Bloomberg or something. Anything different? A great deal of uncertainty about tariffs. Yay, that's not a good sign. So that's a fast, energetic candle. So if you want the most protective stop loss, it would be right here, right? And unfortunately, since none of them did it, it looks very possible to get hit. So we'll call this now most protective SL. You don't give back much, right? Visually, it's there. Unfortunately, it didn't do it on any of them for me to trust in SMT, but Powell, avoiding persistent inflation will depend on size, timing of tariffs, and inflation expectations. Okay. I wish that candle had just dropped into that area on one of them, but it didn't. No hurry, can be patient, he just said. Sorry. Great. Russell with a new higher high in the same area. Don't like that. I don't like that. What do I not like? If Russell's trading on its own and my computer is really lagging right now. If Russell's making a new higher high on its own and then things flip back down, that's it. We don't want to be in it. Right? So if you're comfortable, that's your decision, right? But that would be the most protective stop loss to not give back. In fact, I do want to actually move it. It kind of sucks because it is an actual relative equal low on all of them, but it's going to block the actual text in there. Fortunately, I can't keep reading the tweets, but if there's anything important, let me know. Right? We don't want to turn red. We're keeping risk trailed in profit. And if I see the ability to trail at some point, I'll let you know. So far, so good. I'm just having one bite of something to eat. But if I ever see price really close to my target, right? Really close to the target, you can see it. And it's peanuts, right? Am I going to let it come back all the way down to break even for it to complete the trade? No. Am I going to let it go down? Let me repeat it because I wasn't as close to the monitor, the microphone. If price is really close to my objective, and it's like it's not going there as quickly as I want it to or whatnot, especially when I have multiple, not just one contract. And even if I did have one contract, I'm not gonna let it come back all the way to break even just to deliver that. That's silly, right? Same thing in here. I shouldn't even let it come down halfway, because that's halfway of this full green shaded area. The idea is to protect risk. That's the objective. I've had trades where I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm happy. Close. Done. It's close enough. I was very comfortable in that position. I'm not going to let it come down all the way, right? Especially because you have large imbalances and a relatively equal low. So we're going to let it stop us out in here. We don't want it anymore. Unfortunately, yeah, daily open, all that stuff is in here. Multiple key time levels for me to see price supporting itself on. Don't want it to go lower than that. I don't care anymore. I do not care anymore. I wouldn't care. Like, it can zoom completely go ballistic, but that's where you would protect most of it if that's your objective, right? Now, I'm going to trail it back just a tad bit. And oh my God, I'm doing it in front of 100 plus people. The responsible thing, I'm actually just going to do the responsible thing. That's your objective for the day. You find a trade, you get out. But I've been bullish for several days that I actually want that, right? So that's something that I've been wanting for a few days. If that's my trade plan, then I, as a different type of participant, would want to give it some more room, especially if that risk is free. Because I'm not looking for a 2-hour trade in this case. I'm looking for something like a 2-hour trade or something much larger. And in fact, I would be using profit for something larger just because I anticipate, especially because this was never touched on any of them. So there's a high chance of this getting wrecked. So the actual trade, even though it didn't meet the objective, pretty much there, right? Even at this point, you're looking at 1R, and it should be break even at that point. But I've been bullish for a few days that I truly want to see these highs. So I can use a new drawdown from my pocket, right? Or use this trade to finance it. Dow with a new lower low on its own. I like that. Please let that be the actual low, and that's it. That'd be so cool. And obviously, I'm not expecting this for today. Just so we're clear, this is like a multiple day, if not week, stage thing delivery.
Someone was detected at your home and go.
Sorry. Remember, most protective stop loss, same thing applies to all of them. It would be kicking me out. But for like the sake of a call option or something, I would be looking to capitalize on what could be a potential more aggressive move higher. Or this guy, okay. They're all trading below that low. You literally had two equal lows. It would have been divergence, but it's not. So remember, this block was never really tested, so we're just keeping it. But at this point, it has the ability to substantially fail. Substantially fail. So I would have been stopped out in this area personally. And that's pretty wide. That would be giving halfway of those profits. But what indication? I actually want answers from you guys. What indication here tells us that price is likely to reverse from the highs, even though it didn't meet that high or that high? What could be telling us something like that? Anybody? I'm not gonna speak. I want one answer from you guys. It was right around the time that Frank spoke, right? There's something highlighted in there that would suggest, hey, this is an area where price can reverse. There's peanuts in profits. Giving you a lot of clues, but I'll wait. What is an indication in here? Oh, somebody's typing the answer. Let me try to read it. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Sean. From the lows, I think Powell has pity on my soul. Mr. Goldman's funny. So definitely at this point, never have anything turn red. But yes, if I were to blame somebody for this, it would be the Dow. At the beginning of FOMC, the minutes. One second, let me just clarify my throat. At the beginning of FOMC, price basically pushed up a little bit, then dropped, right? Dow fully recovered the drop and tried to make a new higher high and failed. That's your divergence in there. And that's where I was talking about like peanuts. I would close it, not giving back as much up there. But if you really wanted to give it some room, then you could. It all depends on like how you framed your actual trade. What are you really trying to get out of it? Is it 2R and walk away and that's it? Or is it a more substantial multi-day swing trade, for example? That risk can't be the same, right? So I just attempted it in the sake of, if this is going to do what I've been wanting for days on a high impact day like today, then maybe it does happen. Well, not fully all the way, but it does take it higher to where it can be a swing. The RTY took high. Yes, Dow Jones. Thank you, Sylvia. Great answer. Andrea, you are unmuted. RKS, same thing. What's that? Tula? Oh, Slicktix covered my stream on Twitter. Did you start streaming or something? Hang on. Something happened. Glitched. Okay. I think it just got fixed. What? Is someone trying to say something or no? I'm not too sure. Don't want that trade anymore. We're not going to let it turn red on us. No loss, right? Gave plenty of exits. Whoever took it long, for example, we know that Frank took it long. Frank, did you let it fade all the way your profits? What did you do? Somebody has a hot mic in here somewhere. I can't tell who it is. RKS. I'll go back to server mute you. Or if you can mute, meanwhile, RKS. Okay. Just tell me and I'll unmute it. Now is the hair from the stop loss. Also, if any of you guys here want to type something, tag me, please. I won't really notice. Ideally in the futures charts channel. That would help me a lot. Any questions, anybody? Thank you, Sean, for answering that question, and also Sylvia, too. So right now, this is the actual stop loss. Obviously, we know that. So I'm gonna bring it back at some point. I'm gonna bring it back at some point, but later. Just hide it for now. That is a superb stop loss. Just enough to break a sweat. Yep. It would have made sense, like if it was, like heavier size and minis or whatnot. Wow, nice push. Nice push. Do you see how sometimes it makes more sense to just get out when it's so close than having to deal with that just to get that? It just depends on the type of frame you want to do, right? What kind of framework you're dealing with. Let's go. Where were you? I just asked about you. Anyway, um, so oh, okay. You're good. Yeah. So in here, this is like a 2R trade. That's the framework for a 2R trade. That's all I want. Like to someone that just wants to move on. They have kids to pick up from school or drop off kids or whatever the heck it is. You just want to catch a trade, right? Literally, a trade is like how a business owner who trades by buying and selling, whether it's like, I don't know, electronics or food or whatever the heck it is, you're just making a trade, a transaction, buy, sell. The problem is that sometimes we get so caught up in social media's flaunting of money everywhere that we want the trade to become the everything. So instead of you thinking like a business of like, oh, I want to sell, I don't know, a container of rice to this business, right? To this restaurant. You as a newcomer or a single individual, not a corporation, not a company, not a team, you're saying, no, I'm going to take over this whole block. I will sell. Do not buy anything until I sell it to you, or I will be the main distributor for this for the entire US. Who are you, right? Like, who am I in that sense? And so what I'm trying to say is like we sometimes get lost in wanting that big move, wanting this one trade to just be the everything, right? It shouldn't be. And so how you frame it really, really helps in how um, you stay long in this game, right? And that's why T-Trade talks about like 2-hour trades being something mechanical. That was a 2-hour trade. It completed the objective. And at some point, even if it didn't, and I see the signs by Dow, I'm like, you know what? Let me get out if it drops below this. I'm okay with it. I got a significant portion out of it, more than double my money, right? Because that's risk, that's 1 hour reward, and that's more than that, especially when it's really close to that. That it just makes the framework far more healthy, sustainable to look at a realistic trade and take it and walk away, right? There are some days that I have a higher probability of something, which is something maybe like today. I've been waiting for this for a few days. That's why I explained it earlier and shared why I would be trailing the stop back down to give it some more room to use its own profit to finance a potential larger position using profits from a new trade instead of using my own drawdown, right? For something that is a larger framework that would target even higher prices. So I hope that's clear. If you have any questions about that, ask away. Just to be very clear, target met. In case anyone can't hear me for some reason. I'm gonna have to delete this live stream somehow, or we were talking about something earlier, and I tried to delay it, but I couldn't. So we're gonna have to remove that at some point, somehow. Futures chart. But again, Raven, the reason for the trade was taken because one took out an objective and the other did not, right? Let me reword or like work around your question right now. The reason the trade was taken was specifically when NQ broke the correlation. A break in correlation causes SMT divergence, and then yet still shifted higher. Same thing with Russell. Russell, sometimes among all of these four, only the Russell does this and still shifts higher. I'm watching that. It consumes more mental energy, in my opinion. But you can see how structure was like lower highs and lower lows until it traded into an area of interest. That gray level right here, I don't have that many levels, right, on my chart. I just have 3 so far marked up right now from the entry point. Orange, gray, blue. They just represent certain things. Blue would represent not last week's high, but the week before that. That's that high, blue. And then the gray section represents a daily candle low, just a key level. Are you really going to break the day lower to just go lower, or are you breaking the previous day? I'm sorry, gray is not previous day. Gray is that previous April 29th high that was a selling point down before price climbed back up. So it looks better on the hourly. Gray is just a high point of a sell program. When price started initiating selling down, it now used it as support to go higher. And then the last line represents the daily. The orange line just represents the previous day low. If I stretch this orange line, you would see that it is just yesterday's low, which was also something that price took yesterday, took out Friday's low. But again, price took it again one more time today. Pretty cool. So then I have those 3 colors, those 3 areas. They're my areas of interest. That's what I'm looking at. Without the indicator, there's really not much on my screen. Just some old drawings. Don't need those, don't need those, right? So the fact that it's doing all of this in my area of interest, I want to know, does it change the music from selling lower highs and lower lows to shifting higher highs and higher lows? That's it. After it, especially, I like it a lot better, especially if it stop hunts. There could be some computers buying in here. You would want to stop them out first one more time and go. You're welcome, Sylvia. Thank you for asking, by the way. Please feel free to ask. Like, you see how Sylvia asked in the chat? If there's anything that's not clear about my explanation, unmute or just tag me with a question. If it gets quiet, I'm gonna have a cookie. I haven't eaten, so. How much profit was that from the risk? In NQ or micro NQ terms, you just multiply the 63 by 2. So roughly about under $130 of risk. It was pretty wide. We said that and why we preferred ES over that. For about $250. That's just 2-hour trade. Sorry. 160, 120, yeah. About 250 for this. And anything it would be just trailed to protect profit and risk. I don't know if you. Let's go. Okay. All right. Congrats. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow. Another meeting for Power Hour, 5-minute CSD, but no 15 CSD. I still want main rent. I was saying a bunch of, not yet, Sean, I don't know if you saw. I kind of just want some clarity on the weekly chart to finish off that damn weekly high. I really do. That bold line in there, I won't make it bold anymore. Like, it just feels okay. What you're asking for can happen tomorrow, and I don't even get this whatsoever. What index changed the tune in the last couple of days that took that high? Anybody? We wrote it down yesterday, or I'm pretty sure I did. I also will be wrapping up the stream soon. I do have to get going, but that high was taken by one major index. That's what's keeping me a little bit uneasy that I might still swing some risk for a hedge downside. I don't want to sound like a bear. I am. What index took that high? Dow. Friday's high was taken over by Monday. So if we start seeing some shifts, then yeah, like 4-hour shifts so far, so good. It just seems like I would think there's a lot more money to destroy in here, personally. And on the monthly, oh yeah, by the way, and that would also rebalance the actual fair value gap itself, the monthly. And earlier was highlighting the weekly one in here. So I'm trying different mathematical and statistical models to see any kind of patterns in time. I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say, but like if there's any kind of expansion that starts growing more with time, what is the opposite of it, basically? Right? And I was asking ChatGPT to think a little bit harder. If those are spikes that are becoming more frequent, then what could be the next possible dates? And it didn't give me an answer that I like. I actually wanted May, but it said July. I'll share the chat with you. Talk to you tomorrow. Be safe, brother. Take care. Dun, dun, dun. Any more deviations in here? Let's measure this. That's a clean deviation in here. The computer's running really slow with this stream. OTE, no, standard deviation. That's your 2.5 target. The 4 goes all the way up to those. Damn. You guys remember the morning trade? Yep. In the incremental workshop, we were actually long in the 10 a.m. candle, trying. Where's 10 a.m.? Right here. Attempted longs just to reach that. That was our main objective. It then dropped. We stopped and then, well, kind of stopped. Not really. Took another long up there, but those just look yummy. That I don't truly know if we get them or not, but the whole reason of moving the stop down for the most protective area is just because it's a whole different framework of a trade that I don't even have to use drawdown from the actual account. I can just use the actual profit itself in that sense. Sometimes you can say, okay, no, I'll just stop it out, secure the profit, and wait for it to come down. But what if it doesn't come down? And that's why you have to assess based on how many accounts you have, if you have the ability to let it ride, right? You can secure some on most accounts or whatnot, but then you can leave one for what would be a potential runner. But that's your 2.5 in there. I don't have a lot of information, but yes, that's where I would be. If I was still in this at some point for something intraday, I would kick myself out with that low. That's it. Lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. Obviously, it did break out aggressively, so it could still present another leg higher. That's just normal construction of price. I do like that none of them wicked higher to drop. So that's a good sign, generally. Powell saying a whole bunch of nothing, huh? I do have to get something to eat. Like I've been streaming for like since 7 a.m. my time, Pacific. And the last meal I had was yesterday. So can imagine. Um, and then I obviously have to go, but I think I'm gonna end the Twitter stream soon. As soon as one of these just crosses into a new high, I just want to thank you for joining. 150 people is remarkable. That's awesome. Thank you. And I'll try to do this more often. If it's gonna be more often, I'm gonna be delaying the stream for the sake of the paying members, obviously. So there will be a 15-minute delay for that purpose, as well as the CME compliance also. You can't do that on a public stream. So that's why I have to take this video down and then edit, republish something. Take snippets out of it. God damn you. All of you with a higher low in there. You couldn't have wicked something better. Pretty annoying. Call 15-minute candle. Let's see the actual alignment in here on lower time frame. Let's add this indicator in here. These lines, if you ever see them on my chart, they just represent time, just time openings. If I hide the position, there shouldn't be anything else aside from any levels that I manually marked. We don't need that anymore. And let's just mark up the one line that it reacted on, because that was yesterday's daily low, which did nothing, clearly traded a lot below it. But the other area of interest that we had just highlighted, we just talked about it, is this one here. You just use previous support, right? Oh, sorry, previous resistance, if you want to just simplify it. So if you're ever watching my screen, what these just represent is midnight's candle open, 6 a.m. open, Eastern time, 10 a.m., 8:30, 9:30, monthly, 2 p.m., and daily open. But I can also visualize a good portion of these using this indicator. That just means that the weekly is red, the daily is green, 4 hours green, hourly is, oh, okay, it's missing one because I'm actually on the time frame itself. Hourly is red, 30-minute is red because it just opened, right? Like from the top, it started selling with the new hour. So the ideal scenario would be like watching the 5-minute. You can see how the 15 might flip back up green. That would domino back this current 3 p.m. candle to hammer it back up and turn the 30 and the 1 hour green to continue expanding, growing those high time frame candles. That's it. It's trying to pull a hammer, but so far it's a little bit behind, lagging. Any SMTs in here? There you go. That's one in there. That's a break in correlation. Let's see you shift back up. Ideally. If you don't shift back up, it means that you could be just leading them, right? The idea is that one broke correlation. I don't have enough signs just from an SMT like that. It's not a signal in and of itself until it reverses from that point to confirm it's changing its tune, changing the music. That's it. Just because the 2 p.m. candle is also really close to it, it easily can test it. For funsies. How's the 15-minute red? Yeah. I'm getting more people on Discord. Okay. What's happening? 15 is hammering back up. Let's see it domino back up. The hourly and 30. See what you got. Somebody has an open mic. It's Angie. Just some feedback. Hide position, sub position actually. We'll make the trade plan global in here so that we can actually see the actual trade itself and what we were wanting to target early morning. So we'll see. A little bit, a little bit. It finished the first objective for us. Like that was the main target. The target was met in here. That was like a target within reach, right? It was 2R of this, risking 1 to 2. But yes, in order to get a bigger move, it requires a lot more patience, unfortunately, and more drawdown too. Oh shoot! Yep, I do have to get going. Ooh. Um, I was hoping that would actually make a new high first before I go, but I still have a couple of minutes. We'll wait a little bit. I will. I will. Thank you. I'm trying to avoid the cookie next to me. It's half eaten so far. Not gonna lie, it is being a little bit sloppy, boring, choppy, whatever you want to call it. Where can it go to, right? If you measure this range, remember it never offered 50 in here? It might have actually. Hang on. But actually it did. It actually did. It's no wait. It did. Might go to 618 or something, but nothing that obvious for like a fib type of thing. But this candle was never traded into. Someone call it breakaway gap. I'll see you. I'll see you. Take care. Um, just an imbalance, basically. We need to get Katie into futures, man. Right, Novi? He's yeah. And I think that using the Top Step X platform would be really beneficial for him because of work. 'Cause, on his free time, he can use the actual mobile app instead of an actual full setup computer type of thing. Yep. So now that it traded into this volume imbalance, that's the clearest PD array that looked inefficient. Same gap that never traded into. Looking to see a reaction back up from that gap. Could it also line up with a 618? Maybe. Not sure. I'm not too sure. Yeah, roughly 618, yeah. What do I hate the most? Blunt candles. Price leaves them. I truly don't like them as much. Blunt candle, blunt candle. No wick, right? Just open go. So I don't want it to go a lot deeper than that for NQ specifically. But for these guys, if you can knock out something like this to diverge, extract money, cool. Otherwise, it stops at our break even and it's done. The potential, like the possible swing that would actually go a lot higher, ideally. But it's so far it doesn't look promising. Russell, almost. Almost taking out the actual low on its own. Come on. Just money is resting in there. Come on, Russell. One little switcheroo and a super fast backup. Who has birds? Is that real? Just watching Russell manipulate that level. That's it. I don't want Russell to break aggressively below it. It's just meant to snatch that little dollar and then go. We don't want them all to be trading all together in that snatch and go. It's not going as aggressively as I'd like, so not a good sign so far. I'm looking for this to shift back up aggressively in here. Better closure. Slightly, like nothing too comforting. It's still like Russell's still dealing with that low. We want it to take off from there, not let them all trade below that. Russell, one new lower low. What are you doing, man? What more do you need? It'd be so cool to see a rocket like lift off. Is there a rocket in here? Nothing like crazy, like to the moon, but I can't find the rocket, but you get the idea. Go aggressively from that. Stupid Russell. I don't know what it's doing. What it's doing. It is trying. I mean, I can see where it's trying to reach for potentially. So just highlight that. But why aren't you doing that? This is like another safer stop loss to protect more risk, right? As it made a lower low to make a newer high. You don't want it to make a new lower low. If you want it to protect risk, sorry, protect risk. That was a hiccup. Money signs here. Okay, let's measure this right here. Steve 4. That would be so cool. One more little stretch lower. I think it wants to stretch itself a little bit lower. And that would be also when Russell knocks out this low. Based on the time, I mean, it lasts 15, no, 30, 25 minutes. So be mindful of it. But like, I always say for, especially like options, 0 DTE ones, it has to be something so small. If you really want to hold it as a runner or something, it becomes the entire risk. It's gone. It'll evaporate so quickly that there's no way you can save it. So that's why you keep it so small to where it doesn't really matter. IV is really high still. I tried putting SPX call. It's not filling me at 50 cents. It's fine. It's gone without me now. It's 60, 70 cents. I don't want to end up chasing it, but It might fill me, we'll see. As it pulls back a little bit. Should right now, yep. You just got filled. Posting in the chat. Just one. Someone tag me somewhere? Okay. What chat? Oh, my bad. That's my workshop, by the way, Sylvia. That's my whoa, it's down to 38 cents, by the way. So it's like $10 off right now. Sylvia, I tagged you also yesterday. This incremental workshop is where here. SVVK, you'll see your tag right now down in like a red box channel that's planned. It's part of the workshop I'm doing in the morning. It's like a separate thing from, it's inside of the server, but it's, sorry, 1 second, checking. I'll explain later, but yeah, it's in my Twitter profile too. But let's see what happens in here. Let's see how it goes. Where's my call option? Just want to manage my risk a little bit. The Robinhood window of 0 DTE is closed right now. That'd be funny if IV starts dropping. So far, IV is at 56%. So yeah. Say something? Somebody? Let's go. Yo. This is beautiful. Wow. Holy cannoli. Holy cannoli. Holy cannoli. Wow. 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 That is bananas. That is absolute bananas. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. That is $50 to $2,000. I will post it on my Twitter. Wow. Wow. Anybody take that SPX for 50? It went down. I told you it went down by $10 or whatnot. Wow. Smart. Holy smokes. I will show you my fills, executions. Futures charts, trading chat, and the chat. And the plan channel. Richie Rich, you got 2,000 out of it. Richie, can you speak? Go look at Richie Rich's thing. 50 cents, $50 to 2,000. Holy smokes. I'm posting this on Twitter so that people can see that this was live. Right? Yeah, $50. I just risked 50. And that's how I like it. Yeah. That's the move. Done. 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 That was stunning. That was absolutely stunning. That was absolutely stunning. Yep. I posted. I talked about it. No, just now. Just now. Just now. Revolution took 80 cents to $10. Amazing. Amazing. Thank you, Dan. Thank you. Thank you, brother. Thank you. And yep. Uh hang on. What's up? You got out? KD, what happened? You got it? You got it? Frank, check out. Yeah. Yep. Frank, check out trading chat. Hell yeah. I'm glad. I'm excited. I'm seeing you guys all share. That's freaking awesome. That is freaking awesome. I'm glad. I'm really happy. That's how I like to take my risk. Small for potential large, and that's it. Done. You guys saw this. If you actually study this video, it was really cool to see how a 2R trade can actually be used in here. 2R, right? That was where we said target met. That's 2R right there. Target met. And if there's any potential for something that I wanted my framework from yesterday from the morning was to actually knock out those relative equal highs. We had them marked right here in the morning, and the standard deviation pointed right directly to them. This was neat. This was neat. That was spectacular. That was absolutely spectacular. I don't know why this stream ended, but to those of you on Twitter, I don't know what's happening, to be honest. I don't know why the thing is glitching. But thank you for attending. I do have to get going. I have to also get something to eat, but I will see you guys tomorrow. And yeah, take care. Take care, everyone. Be safe. I'm just ending the Twitter stream for now, but I'm gonna talk with you guys. Hang on, let me just